I look at these faces and I wonder, where did we go wrong? When did the sign of an aging woman become something to fear? What is so scary that we hide it, push aging women aside, act like they don't exist? Maybe it's because these faces show something we cannot control. They show the passing of time, the weight of life, the closeness of death. They are raw, honest, unfiltered. But I think they are beautiful, because every wrinkle holds a story. The story of a laughter, a tear, a memory. These women, they are no longer object of male desire. They won't give society more children. That's their crime, nothing else. And yet, all they experience, all they live through sits quietly in the silence around them, like in a book no one's opened. So in this video, let's talk about what is the reality of an aging woman in 2025. One day I was listening to a psychologist who was talking about that during her 25 years of practice, she never ever met a woman who didn't have a problem with her look. It doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the nationality, everyone had some issue with herself. And honestly, if we look around, even we can see that 20 years old, beautiful girls, they are going to have some beauty work on their body, on their face. This psychologist said, and I really would like to quote it perfectly, she said, "We are, as women, in a terror of aging." And actually, I can really relate, because even me, I consider myself quite natural person, when I had the opportunity into my life, it came into my life, this opportunity, I tried Botox. No, don't try to find the signs of the Botox on my face, because it's already gone. Though I have to admit, it really helped me with something else, not with the beauty, because I had different insecurities when the Botox was there. I am talking about in one of my very early video, but it really helped me with my anxiety. But still, I am questioning if my default would be self-love and self-acceptance. If this is how I'm coming into life and growing up, would I have been considering having Botox, for example? I remember clearly when I was a child, I really wanted to change so many things on myself, and I really was looking at it growing up and going to the plastic surgeries and change this and this and this and this and this. I would be very curious actually if I would grow up with a different mindset, with more self-love and etc. Then I would be able in this very moment to treat it, these days and these experiences, just like a natural phase of life, or I would have the same insecurities. Because yes, I have to admit, I have some uneasy moments with the deepening lines and all of the changes what is coming on the face. It's really interesting actually that the only time when I felt okay with how I look and when I felt confident with who I am was the time when I was volunteering in a jungle, which means there was no mirror around. There was a teeny tiny mirror which allowed to see myself, and otherwise there was no mirror for 8 months. And honestly, I wasn't bothered after a while that how I look, because I just felt I'm okay. It was very interesting. And I think that's the problem with the mirror. It's not the problem that the mirror exists, because it is amazing if we are able to use it objectively. Oh yes, I have a little bit of extra black around my eyes. But instead of this, what we do and how we use the mirror, we create from our fears and self-hate and self-criticism, creating a weapon against us. And every time we're looking into the mirror, we just hurt ourselves, we just punish ourselves with these weapons. And honestly, because we criticizing ourselves through the mirror, it can be much more brutal and much more tough than any human being. And now, if I already mentioned a human being, one advice, if I can give advice for anyone through this channel, choose your people who are in your closest circle very wisely. Why? Because if you choose a person next to you who doesn't like you really, this person doesn't find you nice or beautiful, it can crash your sense of self-worth million pieces. And after put yourself together is extremely difficult. And of course it's true with the other side. If you find someone who loves you and treats you well, then it can heal you tremendously. Luckily, after the first experience, I experienced the second one as well, and I had a person in my life who helped me to fall in love, or at least accept a part of myself which I tried to hide for at least 45 or 7 years, with funny socks and skirts and huge baggy trousers, because I have a little bit thicker ankle. And this person not just liked my ankle, but said, for me it's very important that a woman have a thicker ankle. And I said, what? Is it possible that for someone it's okay what I have? And actually looking after what I have. And guess what? Since this experience, guess how many times I try to hide my ankles? 0. So it's extremely important that these people, these mirrors, can crush you or they can heal you. That's why extremely important that choose your partner, your people around you wisely. Every government knows how powerful the media is, because of course when they start to govern, the first thing what they change, the media. This is the strongest tool of mass manipulation. So if I open my TV and I've seen only wrinkle creams advertised by 20 years old beautiful girls, or if I see 80 years old woman who looks like 40 years old, if I never really see a real human old woman face, then aging becomes a taboo. And what is taboo is something invisible. We are not talking about it, we are not seeing it, it doesn't exist. That's the aging woman. And what happens? The next generation will be super confused because they think, okay, then probably I'm not enough. And of course the beautiful young girls, they having plastic surgery and they don't understand that why I'm still not cool, why still no one likes me. And the mental illness of the new generation is just huge. And what we do, we criticizing that, yeah, because the young generation and they are broken and there is a problem with them. But in reality, who was feeding all of this with them? Us. We been feeding this madness through the media and through our real life examples. Yes, I'm talking about my example, I'm talking about my responsibility, because it's really clear I cannot change the media. Yes, I can switch off the TV, but if I really want to help the new generation, I can show my own example that yes, there is an aging woman and yes, she's still alive and actually she is thriving. I can show up with my own face just as I am. And I understand that this is just a drop in the ocean. I really understand it's not too much. But lots of little drops can create the ocean. So this is what we can do, I can do, and you can do. But now let's go a little bit deeper, let's go a little bit underneath the surface, because yes, I'm very open and very honest and very translucent that yes, the changes of my appearance is not always easy. But there is another thing underneath the surface which is changing as well, but is changing towards exactly the opposite direction. And I have to say, I never in my life felt so in peace with myself. I never seen really who I am. I really feel that my life in these days is like when the puzzle pieces just arriving and just clicking together, and I started to see the connection between people and events and choices. I started to see my own life much clearer. I'm starting to see who I am. I started to set my boundaries. It never before existed in my life, and I started to keep these boundaries, and I respect my own boundaries so clearly that no one can hurt me. I'm really standing next to me like a mother tiger, and I can face with anyone, whoever wants to hurt me, but really anyone, which for me just a couple of years ago was kind of impossible. And for me, that's the real power. That's the real power. Not the real power is not what I can see in the mirror, but this is the real power which holds me together from inside. And maybe it is happening with me in these days because I reached the premenopause phase, which I know it for many women happens when they reach their 30s and 40s. It's happening with me in the late 40s. But the thing is, what is my experience, that we don't really have information about premenopause or menopause. But what I see if I look around, that we are women, we are not really prepared for the premenopause or the menopause. Actually, I have to admit, I will be 50 just a couple of months later, and really 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I started to understand that menopause is one moment when you reach the point when you didn't have your period for 1 year, 12 months, and everything before is the premenopause. Really, I didn't know this. For example, luckily recently more and more women opens up, and more source talks about everything regarding premenopause or menopause. And yes, you can say that there is not too much information around, not too much research around, because menopause a little bit, or premenopause a little bit like the menstruation, that as many women, as many type of menstruation, painful, not painful, you don't even notice, or you are in the bed for 2 days, so it can be really different for everyone. And menopause is, again, I already mentioned that some people start it when they are in their 30s, other people start later. It has so many symptoms that it's really hard to say that now I have some issue, or this is the symptom of the menopause or a premenopause. And this is, if I think that this is the reason why there is not too much research around, this is kind of the more optimistic take. But if I want to see the whole picture a little bit in a darker shade, I can assume that maybe that's why there is not too much research around it. Because a woman who reaches this phase, we cannot give more children to the society, which means in the eye of the society, we are not useful anymore. Or a woman who reached the menopause is not valuable part of the society. And of course, if someone is not valuable for me, why on earth should I spend money on them? Everyone can decide which variation is closer to your own truth. But the main thing is that still premenopause, menopause, aging woman is a taboo. And because we don't talk about it, there is fear around it. Even if I talk with women in my age, there are some women who not talking about it. They pretend that like, yeah, I'm just floating through life without anything just touching me, nothing ever like this happened with me. And of course, other women who talks about it, they still have lots of fear that, oh, my menopause is coming, my premenopause is coming, and what will happen? And everyone talking about the hot flashes, but is much more. Yes, you can have a very foggy mind, you just forget everything. You can be very emotional, just crying one moment and raging in the other moment. Yes, it's already happened with me that I was crying during the whole day without any particular reason. And yes, it's already happened with me that I put the beans in the water, I put it on the stove, and I thought, okay, 10 minutes, I take a shower, by the I finish, it will be ready. 2 hours later, I opened the door of my room and I was thinking, the neighbors again, they burned something when they've been cooking. And I went back to my computer, I was working, and at one moment, the bean, that is burning. And well, that happened. I created charcoal basically, but again, it is up to me. And I don't want to connect with the dialogue which is full of fear or no information. I want to see this whole premenopause and menopause timing and the aging process, that I'm curious. I want to change the fear to curiosity. That yes, when I was a teenager and my body changed, now my body changing again, inside and outside. And instead of, because I'm really a big believer, if I'm coming towards this story with a fear, then everything horrible will happen with me, because my approach is like, no, I don't want. But if I'm able to come with curiosity, then whatever happens, for example, burning the beans for 2 hours, what I will do, I will soak the pot for 2 days, and after I will wash and I will laughing, and now I'm sharing the story with you that, Yes, this has happened. I just completely forgot what I wanted to do, and I just completely forgot what I was doing. And yes, it happens every single day. But I try to laughing on myself instead of thinking, oh, what a horrible thing. This is how it is. And the other thing which is very, 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 very important, and I kind of assume that's why society pushes us aging women a little bit to the side. A friend of mine told me a story, and I want to share this story. She and her partner, they've been building a house. And for a couple of weeks she wasn't able to go and participate, but after when she went, her partner was showing that, wow, look at the windows, look at this lamp, look at the ceiling, look at everything, it's so beautiful. She just looked around and she just asked, what the fuck is this? And she realized the face of her partner just changed, like, wow. And she realized that she was really surprised as well, that where this really raw and honest voice is coming from her, because all in her life she's been the person who was nice and kind and never hurt anyone. She agreed with everything, and now this roaring sound was there. And I think when this sound is coming out of woman, that can be really scary. There is no space for it. We don't know what to do with it, and that's why is it scary. And it's not just that a new energy comes up, but I'm realizing in this day, and it's beautiful, though I didn't reach menopause yet, I'm just marching towards menopause, but now I already feel that a huge weight is just releasing from my shoulders, this huge weight that should I have children or not, or oh my god, I don't have children, oh my god, I'm 40, I'm 30, or I'm whatever, and I cannot have children, I don't have partner, and we just have this pressure. And honestly, I was chewing on this question all in my life, and this endless considering and chewing and wanted to decide, and everything around me turned in a way that I couldn't make the decision, and it took me so much energy. And these days that I'm releasing this pressure from my life, I feel that the weight from my shoulder is just like get released. And this energy I was using to make this unmadeable decision in my life, at least, this energy now is free, and I can do whatever I want. I can create different things with this energy. And that's, for example, what I'm turning to create these videos, because I really feel that my responsibility to inform the next generation that you are not a cool girl or cool woman if you have beautiful forehead or you have beautiful little nose. Yes, it can be part of it. If you feel really insecure, if you feel that you need to do this, go for it. I'm not against. As I already mentioned, I tried Botox as well. But you are the cool one if you know who you are, if you know your values, if you know your boundaries, if you align with yourself and you are standing up for your truth, if you have your own voice, then you are cool. Or if you are a young guy, my message exactly the same to you, with or without plastic surgeries, find your own voice, because and you shouldn't apologize for your face either. That was for today. Thank you very much for your attention. If you liked the video, if you would like to support my work, feel free to like, subscribe, or share my video with others who would benefit from it, and see you in the next one. Adios.